Hey guys, just gonna answer the question of the week, which is, let me double check here. Do you have a family member you wish you'd gotten to know better? I think the best way that I am going to see here answer this is to say I don't know if I would say that there's one person in general that I wish I got to know better. Um, And I think I did a pretty good job of getting to know a lot of my extended family, aunts and uncles, right? My Aunt Marianne and Uncle Keith. I mean, we did a lot with them as a family, so we were pretty close with them. We still do things with just Aunt Marianne, just Jen and I and our family and Dana's kids and Dana and Dave. Um, Kathy and Dennis, I spent time at their house in the summers where I'd stay for maybe not their house. I would stay at Grandma and Grandpa Lewis's, but hung out with them a lot. Um, I think in general, how I would answer it without going through each and every person is I would say I wish when I was younger that people lived longer, right? Instead of, I don't even know if lived longer because like my grandparents lived a long time, but you're just so young that you're not good at getting to know them, right? I mean, uh, it's hard, and you run out of time, and people live far away, right? I mean, the uncle that I'm closest to is my uncle Gary, and but I make an effort. We both make an effort to get on the phone here and there, and I went and stayed with him for a summer and tried to learn, being a landlord, kind of some of that kind of stuff, and then so I think you can always make it happen, but you do run out of time. Like, I probably would have really gotten along with my uncle Sonny, um, if I was an adult when he was around. Not that I wasn't an adult, but you do go from like being a kid, and then the next thing you know, you're like, you're an adult and you're married and you have kids and you're too busy to go see anything. And then by the time you get to this age, right? Being, you know, we'll call it 45, right? And kids are getting less of a time suck or burden or however you want to call that. You have more free time. Then those people, they have gotten old and they've passed on, or they're not in great shape. Now, the ones that are still alive, it's great and it's easy. And you get to spend a lot of time and you get to um, know them more and you get to have real conversations, right? With people like my dad is my dad, but if he was my uncle, I'd be like Uncle Greg, right? I would say Aunt Marianne, um, Uncle Dennis, um, those kind of people where you're like, oh yeah, you get to know them, Uncle Gary, of course, but it's just hard. I don't think so. I don't have a very good answer for this question as far as who would I. Maybe my answer is Uncle Sonny. I think we'd have gotten along as far as I always liked how Uncle Sonny, and then Jeff to an extent as we got older, and had Christmases at Grandma Lewis's. You know, Not that they weren't there, but they didn't have to be there the whole time because they probably were a little bit like, okay, I don't need to sit around the table because that's what we did, right? We just sat around the table the whole time. Now I thought it was great because the adults were talking and they would let you sit there because I was 17 or 20 years old and you knew just enough to be able to sit there and not be so annoying. But I think Sonny's love for cars and that he kind of went and worked for himself as a realtor and just liking certain things. He's kind of a guy's guy. I would have probably enjoyed him more, but he, you know, I didn't get it as much a chance to know him. But and then he passed away. Now he was older than right than most of my. I wonder if he's yeah, he probably is my oldest uncle, I would assume. Um, And so that makes it hard too, right? Just the age difference. It's easier to be closer to my uncle Gary, who still isn't 70 yet, right? He's 69 years old, and I'm 50. It's not that hard to get closer to somebody that's closer to your age and you have more time. So yeah, I guess that's how I would answer this. I think I just wish that you I don't know. I don't know what I wish for because I don't think what I wish for is probably possible. When you're little, you think like everybody gets together and everybody knows everybody, and you get together for Thanksgiving and Easter and Christmas and all these things, and everybody's there. But as the generations keep growing, right? Like it was just grandma and grandpa, my parents, and me and my cousins, and those three generations. Well, now that next one down starts having their own kids, well, it just gets big, right? It starts spidering out, where you can't have 55 people at Grandma Lewis's for dinner, right? I mean, that house, I don't know how big it was, but it couldn't have been 1,100 square feet. So you can't have all those things. But I just remember really liking going to Grandma Lewis's, and and everybody being there, and Uncle Bill shaking your hand so hard. And I remember thinking my cousin Jeff and my cousin Rod were like so cool, right? Because they were the older kids, and me, Quartz, Josh, Andy, we were the younger punks, and then there were the kids on down, Kit and Jesse and Nate and those kind of guys. But they were so cool, and I felt like if anything was wrong with anybody's car, like the guys would be like, "Hey, well, let's dive into this thing and let's fix it, and let's the brakes are bad or this is bad," and everybody dives in, and everybody kind of knew how to fix cars and how to do things. So I don't know. It was just kind of um, it was always fun, and nothing big happened. Nothing was huge, but it was just fun being around everybody, and that and that we had this little table. Grandma Lewis had this little table. It's not little, but it's just a regular sized dining table. Like it's small. Um, and I felt like we'd have 25 people in there eating, and everybody was eating out on the porch and in the living room, and sitting down in the living room on the floor, and at the kid table over by the deep freeze, and anywhere and everywhere, right? And we just kept doing that. And then as soon as that meal was over, grandma would start end on the next meal, and people were helping and doing things. I don't know. I just really liked it. Then we, as kids, go down to the creek and do stuff. I just loved all that stuff. I probably just wish it went on longer, right? It's kind of like the video I had made about what's the best time of my life or best times. And I said the easiest one is when I was like, 9 to 16. Like, that was awesome. I wish that would just keep going. And those were kind of those memories, is in that time period. And having having those times with and like the uncles and aunts weren't like really talking to me. They were mostly talking to each other, but I don't know, you just got to know everybody from everybody talking and everybody being around, and them yelling at you to get out of the kitchen and take off your shoes because your shoes are muddy, and what are you doing coming in here, and everything. And yeah, I just like the whole thing, and sleeping over with all your cousins, right? I mean, Gary's kids and our family, and then Jettons, and Jeff and Jerry always went back to their house that they lived there, that was close, and sometimes maybe Rod or Lottie would go with them or something. But for the most part, man, everybody just crammed in every piece of floor you could find, and I just love that stuff. So I think the question being, what is the question? Do you have a family member you wish you'd gotten to know better? I don't really think so. I think I wish I knew all of them a little bit better. I wish I knew all of their stories more. You didn't talk to them about them. That wasn't Nobody really did that. I mean, maybe if something big happened, somebody got divorced, Gary got divorced, we would actually talk about it, right? Like, why'd you get divorced or what happened, But minus that, no. I mean, I don't know the hopes and dreams or anything really about Judy Jetton, my aunt. Um, yeah, there's lots of those people. So I guess I just wish people live longer. I wish everybody could live to be 90 because then if your aunts and uncles are, let's say, 30 years older than you get to be 60 and they're 90. And at that point, you've had time to really get to know those people. The bad part is, no different than Tanner dying at 18, is that people don't always make it to 90. Lots of people die at 60s, 70s, all that kind of stuff. So it's, yeah, again, I don't love this question. Um, I guess maybe it'd be different if I had a tiny family and I'm like, oh, I really wish I'd gotten to know. I mean, maybe who I wish I'd gotten to know better would be Jen's Aunt Barbie. The little I got to know her over the course of, probably, geez, 7 years. Just the neatest lady. So I didn't give her much time with her because I've only been with Jen for 11 years, 10 years, something like that. And so I didn't get a ton of time with her, but I just thought, man, she's so well read and loves learning and wants to go to college classes and just sit in and learn about literature and things. She was just the neatest lady. And but then as soon as her husband, Uncle David, passed away, she just didn't last much longer, for whatever reason. Um, but yeah, it was just kind of, so that might be an answer too. But I don't know. I think I just wish I knew everybody a little bit better, right? And I wish there was time to go have those conversations. Go have lunch with my aunt Phyllis, who I actually think is hilarious and fun and great. And I just don't. We don't go to St. Louis anymore once Grandma and Grandpa died, right? We don't get together there for Thanksgiving any longer. So I'm not in St. Louis, and especially not in DeSoto, Missouri, and going to do that. So yeah, I guess I just wish yeah everybody lived longer and you still got around to see everybody. So maybe more family reunions. I wish probably somebody would have a family reunion that I was a part of that was every 3 or 5 years and you could go to, and it was somewhere in Missouri. And if you moved away, you could fly back to it, but it was only every 2 or 5 years or 3 years or whatever it is. And you could do that and meet those people again and talk and learn. So I think you just get out of touch because you start running in your circle, right? When I grew up, the circle was grandma, my parents, and me, my generation, those three generations. Now it's the grandparents are gone, right? So now it's just mom and dad are the grandparents. I'm the aunt and uncle stage, and my kids are the cousin stage. And so it just gets smaller, because you stop seeing your extended family as much. Because I don't. I mean, even Kevin Hovis, I would consider one of my best friends. I don't see Kevin that much. I don't go to St. Louis that often. I'm just not there. I love that Dana Elmore comes in town, and we still get to see her. She does a good job of making sure that that kind of stuff happens. So that's great. So somebody needs to take charge and get it done. But so yes, my final thought here is I wish I got to know all my aunts and uncles and cousins better. I haven't spoken to so many cousins in so long, and especially on the Lewis side. We still kind of stayed together a little bit more, a little longer on the Elmore side, on mom's side. Seeing Dana and Tanya and Kevin and Dave and those people, I still would see them, but the other side, I just don't. I can't remember the last time I've seen the Jet and the kids. I mean, years and years and years, decades probably. So it's a long answer to a question I didn't really like, but that's my answer. So I'm gonna stick with that. See you guys.